Every year in Canada, over 1.5 million men over 60 develop symptoms of prostate enlargement, and most don't realize it's tied to something they do every single day, a habit they've had for years, maybe even decades, one that seems harmless until it quietly rewires how their prostate behaves. It starts with waking up at night to pee, just once or twice at first. But over time, that turns into broken sleep, constant urgency, and that heavy pressure in your lower belly that never quite goes away. If this sounds familiar, you're not imagining it. And it's not just aging. Urologists across the country are now warning a specific habit common among seniors is silently worsening prostate health. And if you don't address it early, it could lead to painful urination, frequent infections, and in some cases, surgery. So let's talk honestly, because change is still possible. If you've ever woken up 3 times a night and asked yourself, what's happening to me? Leave a comment below. You're not alone, and you deserve answers. The habit we're talking about? It isn't smoking. It isn't alcohol. It's something far more subtle. It's how many older men ignore their bladder signals during the day, then drink most of their fluids in the evening to catch up. A few cups of tea with dinner, a large glass of water at 9 p.m., sometimes even juice or warm milk before bed because it helps them sleep. And it seems logical. Hydration is important, right? But here's the problem. Your prostate doesn't respond to fluid intake the same way at 60 as it did at 30. As men age, testosterone levels shift. Estrogen, strangely enough, becomes more dominant. That hormonal imbalance, especially the rise in dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, triggers the growth of prostate tissue. The gland starts to enlarge, a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. It's not cancer, but it presses directly on the urethra, the very tube that carries urine out. Now add evening fluid habits to that picture. Your bladder fills quickly. You lie down, and the body no longer has gravity to help. The kidneys filter more at night than they used to, and the enlarged prostate slows down how fast you can empty. So what used to be a single midnight trip becomes 2, then 3. And because you're never fully emptying, you always feel like you have to go. One urologist in Toronto told me, it's not just the prostate growing, it's the pressure, the nightly cycle of overfilling and under-emptying. That repeated tension over time worsens the obstruction. If this is your first time hearing this, let me know in the comments. Just type, I didn't know about nighttime fluids. Because that one misunderstanding is stealing sleep from thousands of men over 60. And it doesn't stop at sleep. Once the cycle begins, men often start limiting outings. They avoid long drives or movie theaters because they don't know when they'll need the bathroom. Some cut back on daytime water entirely, thinking it'll help, but that just concentrates the urine, making it more irritating to the bladder lining. It becomes a quiet spiral. You drink less, but pee more. You sleep more, but feel worse. Your energy dips, your blood pressure rises, and now your mornings begin in exhaustion. I remember speaking with a retired millwright named Peter from Hamilton. He told me, I used to think I was just getting older, but one night, I got up 6 times, and I sat on the edge of the bed and thought, if this is life now, I don't know if I can do it. That moment stayed with me, because it's not just about the prostate, it's about dignity, about rest, about being able to go on a walk or visit your daughter's house without scanning for the nearest washroom. And the worst part? Most of it is preventable, but no one ever explained how. Doctors now recommend something simple. Shift your hydration earlier in the day. It doesn't mean cutting water entirely at night, but front load your intake. A full glass when you wake, another mid-morning. Soup or high water foods like cucumber or melon with lunch. And then ease back as the day winds down. Not only does this reduce pressure on the bladder and prostate at night, it also helps retrain the body's rhythm. Your kidneys respond better when fluids are spaced out, not crammed into the final few hours before sleep. One urology nurse in Vancouver told me, some of our patients reduced their nighttime bathroom trips by half, just by changing when they drank water. No medication, just timing. If this little shift sounds doable, just comment, I'll try the timing trick, so others know they're not doing this alone. But of course, fluids are only one piece of the story. What we consume has a direct impact on the size and sensitivity of the prostate. Some foods quietly fuel inflammation, processed meats, dairy in excess, and high-fat fried meals. Others do the opposite. There's emerging evidence now around zinc, magnesium, and certain seeds, especially pumpkin seeds. I met a retired farmer in Saskatchewan who swore by a nightly handful of pumpkin seeds. At first I thought it was just a routine, but he said ever since he started, his flow improved. He didn't wake as often, and he just felt more in control. It turns out there's research to back that up. A 2014 study published in Urology International showed that pumpkin seed extract significantly reduced symptoms of enlarged prostate over 12 months. The seeds are rich in phytosterols, plant compounds that help regulate DHT levels, and in zinc, which supports testosterone balance. He told me, it wasn't a miracle, it just gave me back quiet nights. That was enough. So if that story gives you hope, even a little, let us know. Type pumpkin seeds in the comments. It might be the nudge someone else needs tonight. But here's where this story turns. Because it's never just about the prostate. It's about how easily older men are taught to suffer in silence, to dismiss discomfort, to laugh off the third or fourth trip to the bathroom as just old age, to push through the fatigue, the disrupted sleep, the private frustration, because they've always been the ones who take care of others, not the ones who ask for care themselves. One man wrote to us from Prince George. He said, "I didn't want to admit I had a problem. I thought my wife would worry or my kids would start hovering. So I said nothing for months, and every night I'd sit on the edge of the bathtub at 3 a.m. just breathing through it." He paused, and then he added something I'll never forget. "I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of needing help." That struck me deeply, because so many older men feel the same way. But needing help doesn't make you less strong, and asking questions doesn't make you weak. It makes you smart, it makes you seen, and it might be the very thing that lets you sleep through the night again. Here's the quiet truth no one tells you. The body never stops adapting. Even at 65, even at 85, even after years of broken nights, your body is still listening, still responding, still capable of healing in small, powerful ways, changing when you hydrate, choosing foods that ease inflammation, listening to the signals your bladder sends instead of ignoring them, moving more during the day to encourage better flow, asking your doctor, not Google, when something doesn't feel right. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to befriend your body again. Give it what it's asking for. I remember a man from Gaspé who kept a journal for 2 weeks, just a small notepad where he tracked when he drank water, what he ate, and when he woke up to urinate. At first, he didn't think much of it, but then he noticed something. On the days he drank most of his water before 4 p.m. and had no coffee after lunch, he only got up once at night. "I didn't even tell my doctor right away," he said. "I just sat on the porch one morning and thought, I'm not broken. I just needed to pay attention." And that's the heart of today's message. You're not broken. You're not alone. And this isn't something you have to quietly accept. So tonight, as you reach for that glass before bed, or that warm drink you've always used to soothe yourself, pause. Just for a moment, and ask yourself, is this what my body needs? Or is it what I've always done? Because sometimes the smallest changes bring the greatest relief. And if you've ever sat in the dark, tired and frustrated and wondering if you'll ever sleep a full night again, know that this channel was made for you. Leave a comment, tell us your story, or just say, I'm here. Because your voice matters here. And if something in today's video resonated with you, maybe consider joining us here on Comfort Corner. We're building a space where aging is not something to fear, but something to understand, to share, and to live fully, one quiet night at a time.